Dr. Manmohan Singh, a scholar, a statesman, and the former Prime Minister of India, has passed away, leaving behind a legacy of initiatives, welfare, and the stepping stone of liberal economy on which our country is showing a momentous growth. Hi, hello, namaskar. I'm Prajwal Borse, and in this video, we are going to discuss the illustrious career of Dr. Manmohan Singh and his contribution for the motherland Bharat. Dr. Manmohan Singh's moment of reckoning came in 1991. At that time, he was a finance minister, and P.V. Narasimha Rao was the prime minister of the country. India's financial condition was worse than we can even imagine. India's fiscal deficit and the balance of payments were tremendously high. To run the country, we need forex reserves. But at that time, India's forex reserves were only sufficient to sustain the country only for 2 weeks. The situation was so dire that the government even asked the IMF for the assistance, that too by pledging the world reserves of the country. At such tragic time, Manmohan Singh as a finance minister took a drastic step of opting LPG reforms. That is, liberalization, privatization and globalization reforms, which opened the gates of India to foreign countries and also enabled India's citizens to take a giant leap in the sphere of business. He has secured his place in history primarily for his LPG reforms. Manmohan Singh was born in the Gaha village of West Punjab state, which is now in Pakistan. But after partition, his family migrated to Hindustan. He obtained bachelor's degree and master's degree from Punjab University. Then he completed his further studies from Cambridge University. Then he completed his D.Phil from Oxford. After arming himself with formidable education, he worked as a lecturer and professor at Punjab University. He was so sharp in economics that nobody could unsee his knowledge in economics. That is why central government appointed him as an advisor for the foreign trade. Later, he also worked as a professor for international trade at the Delhi School of Economics. In 1972, Manmohan Singh ji was appointed as a chief economic advisor to the finance ministry. A few years later, he became secretary of the ministry. Then from 1980 to 1982, he was at the Planning Commission. Then between 1982 to 1985, Manmohan Singh was appointed as RBI governor. Pranab Mukherjee was the finance minister of the country when Singh was the RBI governor. And interestingly, again after 20 years, Pranab Mukherjee was the finance minister of the country, but this time under the prime ministership of Dr. Manmohan Singh. So we can imagine how he raised from nowhere to become the prime minister of the country just because of his knowledge. He was the prime minister of the country for 10 years, from 2004 to 2014. And in this decade, he took many steps for which countrymen remembers his tenure. For the employment generation in rural areas, he established Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act 2005, also known as Manrega scheme, which gives 100 days of assured paid work in a year for youth. He passed National Rural Health Mission. He also introduced a Right to Education Act. He also passed Forest Rights Act to protect the rights of Adivasis, tribals, and traditional forest-dwelling communities. To combat rising militancy and for the internal security of our country, Manmohan Singh ji established Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, that is UAPA, and NIA, which is National Investigative Agency. Besides this, his government established Unique Identification Authority of India, the authority which issues Aadhaar card to the people. Manmohan Singh's actions in 1991 had a long-standing impact on the Indian economy, the financial landscape, and the overall business ecosystem. Now India's GDP is on the 5th position in the world. And in 2050, India is going to surpass Japan to become the 4th largest GDP. Then India is going to surpass Germany to become the 3rd largest GDP of the world. We all are celebrating India's success, but we should not forget how this all started. Dr. Manmohan Singh has sowed the seeds of those trees whose fruits we are reaping right now. He paved the way for the privatization of public sector undertakings, the opening up of the skies, and the creation of growth of several new industries. His measures has helped Indian middle class to increase their income. Because of his efforts, export-import rules were eased, and the government drastically improved the ease of doing business. There was also an explosion in the entrepreneurial space, and the world of goods entered the country from the rest of the world. The National Stock Exchange, India's biggest stock exchange, was also founded in 1992 under his tenure. So in a clear sense, Manmohan Singh was instrumental in rescuing country from the bankruptcy and economic collapse and setting it on a path of monumental growth. India has already given Bharat Ratna to the P.V. Narasimha Rao, as economic reforms were happened during his prime ministership. But if government gives Bharat Ratna to Dr. Manmohan Singh posthumously, then it will increase the value of Bharat Ratna also, as he was the actual person behind the idea and implementation of those reforms. And his actual words, the history will be kinder to me, would get the actual sense. Dr. Manmohan Singh sir, India will forever remember you for your contribution. This was the video, my friends. Share this video with your relatives and friends to make them understand the contribution of Manmohan Singh for the country. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, Jai Jagat, Jai Bharat.